is the Rangers Journal now.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Rangers Journal. My name is Billy Rankin and it is Monday the 30th of September. This is going to be the Q&A show this week. I'm not doing it alone, obviously. Andrew from the Hibs channel, how are you this evening, mate?
I'm not too bad, Billy. Thanks for having us on, and looking forward to it. Love a wee bit of Q&A.
Yeah, me, I've never actually done a Q&A one before, so if I don't do it right, please be kind to me. And Ryan, mate, good evening to you. You doing all right?
I'm good. I'm a Q&A master. That's the only one I seem to go for. So I'm obviously a few people. I'm always in the Q&A ones. I didn't even mean to pick this Monday, but it's just I'm free on Monday. So everywhere Q&A goes, I go.
Oh, well, the stars have aligned for you to continue with the Q&A journey that you're on. I'll stay with you, Ryan. We're just going to have a wee quick chat about the game before we get through some of the topics or some of the questions we get in. What is your overall feeling from Sunday's win over Hibs?
Look, felt a bit of a damp squib at the end of it because you're just kind of hanging on. But if you look at a bigger picture, it's another 3 points. It's another clean sheet. I didn't think we looked in trouble at any time. Maybe the penalty and one save from Butland. I was kind of surprised Sky Sports gave me man of match. I didn't think he'd done that much to get man of match, but 2 saves in it for him. But I thought everybody, I wouldn't say anybody had a bad game for Rangers either. I wouldn't say, I think they just lacked that wee bit of oomph in the final third, that kind of through passes. There was too many safe passes for me, Billy. But again, that's maybe you're a bit leggy and not get as confident. Even like the likes of Raskin coming in for his first game, he looked like I hadn't been playing, but he'd done all right as well. And I think he seemed to be sharing as well. His legs were kind of heavy late on, so it's probably heavy legs as well. Why game kind of turned out a damp squib, but I'm happy another clean sheet and our 3 points, and we're in good form, really. Don't let him tell you we're not. We're in good form.
And Andrew, I'll throw the same kind of question to you. What was your overall takeaway from the game?
For me, the fact we got another clean sheet, because if you look at the stats now, I know we've obviously conceded 4 goals so far this season in 6 games. Doesn't look that good, but if you look at them in isolation, obviously one was that Old Firm mauling, and the other one was an own goal. So realistically, against the rest of the SPFL, we haven't actually conceded a goal yet, which I guess says something about our defence. Because I know not everyone's made their mind up on Prepare yet, and even some on Suter, but it seems to be a fairly strong defence, and we seem to be building on that now, which most good Rangers teams do.
Ryan kind of brought out a little bit of the legginess. There must be some hangover from the the midweek game against Malmo. Clement did talk about it in the press conference that they had very little sleep. If players did get home on the Thursday night into the Friday, they're back at training a few hours later. So not ideal preparation for a game. He did make a comment about how the previous round other teams have had the weekend off before or after.
Yeah, no, it's a weird one because I don't think we are used to it, are we? Because weirdly, especially in Gerrard's era, generally when we played in Europe, we were we liked the kind of the 2 games a week, and the team seemed to thrive on it a little bit. So we go into a game at the weekend still firing on all cylinders. Now, obviously, back in the day, I say the day, when I was like a teenager, you had Alex McLeish teams. You'd always play in Europe, and then you'd come back and you'd have Inverness Cali Thistle away, which you knew it was going to be a 1-1 draw. You just knew it. It is normal. It is natural for teams to, be a bit leggy, especially after a trip to Sweden, especially in a game where we were so dominant. But we do have options now that we can turn to. We actually have a bit of squad depth. So it's a 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, because we could realistically, obviously we made 4 changes going into this one from Sweden. But sadly, Igaman, I don't think it was the game really suited him too well. But you know what? We're seeing good things from Tom Lawrence. And yeah, towards that latter part of the game, we did look very leggy. That's why I think we ended up with 3 right backs on the pitch, just to kind of get us over the line, really. But like Ryan said, I don't think, bar a couple of chances, it was all half chances for Hibs, really. It's like a yes and a no. When you're watching the game live, your heart's in your mouth. But I think, you look back at it and you know what, I don't think we were in that much trouble necessarily, bar the penalty.
Fair enough. Well, let's get started on some questions. I'll come back to you, Ryan, because you do kind of touch on it and what you said earlier on, and that is from Scotty, I'm imagining. Did the level of performance from yesterday worry you guys? Stay with you, Ryan.
No, it's not overly worrying. No, as long as you're grinding out results, you're getting clean sheets. Clean sheets is massive. See, getting the amount of clean sheets we're getting, I think it's going to be a bit under the radar how many clean sheets we're getting. And as Andrew says, there's this kind of question mark over the two centre halves. But two centre halves are doing great in my opinion now. They've really started to gel. The performances will need to get better. I think it can stay like this forever, but right now, no, it's not worrying me as long as we're getting 8 points on the board. Just try to keep in touching distance, you know.
I don't want to taint your response to this, Andrew, either, but for me, we can't grind out every game. You can do it from time to time. So that's maybe why I'm a wee bit worried that we're grinding out a couple of these games. But tell me your opinion on Scotty's question.
It's a yes and a no, weirdly. I think we're all happy after Thursday night's game, a fantastic result, finally beating Swedish opposition, and it looks like things are starting to click. We've seen little things over the past few weeks where little bits of interlinking play starting to come off, one-touch pass and starting to work a little bit. But when you get towards that second half and you're watching the game and you're at home, we're at Ibrox, our first full house this season, and we are the game's become a bit turgid now. We're not no stranger to turgid football games, and I guess the important thing is winning them games as long as you get the 3 points and move on. But there is that little element of doubt in the mind. Now, Philip Clement himself says you're not going to see the real Rangers to October, November. Well, we are starting to reach that period now. I think there has been visible improvement from when we started the season to now. But there's a couple of things. I think Czerny is a little bit one-dimensional. I'm not really criticising him. We've not really had a proper nailed-on right winger, but I think he's just been figured out. And I think a little bit, obviously he was still doing some good things on the pitch yesterday. But yeah, it's a tough one, especially when you've won a game and you kind of start picking the bones apart. Does the level of performance it frustrates you a little bit because you're capable of more, but as you say, you can't go on with it every week, because if you come up against a high-flying Aberdeen side, let's say, it might be a bit of a different story.
I'm assuming this question came from you here, so maybe me and Ryan can answer that one. Is Tavernier improving after his slow start due to injury? So, Ryan, what do you think about
that? I think so. I think his performances have got better. He's looking a lot more like him old self. Not bombing up the wing and scoring the goals at the back post, but he's just looking a bit more confident. He was looking lost when he started the season. I thought he looked a wee bit all over the place. He's just looking that bit fitter and that bit more compact as well. I think he's coming on better. I think he needed to run a game. I think we were writing him off a wee bit early. No, not us personally, but as a supporter, I think he was getting written off a wee bit early. I think he's come on to a game again. I'm not saying he's in great form or anything, but you can just see that little bit of improvement. I think he's improved his match fitness coming on. But I think we'll start seeing the real Tavernier again soon. I really do.
I don't know if I share your optimism. I think Clement talked about have a part this season, but not to have the same, Tavernier playing 40, 50 games and to blend in another right back, and but not really seen that other than late substitute appearances. I think there was one, but as you say, having three right backs on the park yesterday was a wee bit of a worry. I know they're all not all playing the right back position, but I would like to see him drop out the team for a couple of games run, because I don't think what's tainting it a wee bit, Ryan. I watched the highlights for the Leipzig game. And when you see his work for that first goal, I'm not seeing anything remotely close to that at the moment. So I maybe just being a wee bit grumpy because I was having
same like goals at the back post and all that he was scoring. He scored massive goals for us. I think he was going to run a 15 games out of goal there, didn't he? Until they scored the penalty. So it's see what you're saying. I'm not saying I can see what you're saying about it. We'll not get back to that level, but I think we'll start seeing goals come into his game again very soon. Maybe not to the extent he was scoring them a couple of seasons ago, but. I agree with you as well, Bill. I think he does need time out of the team. I would like to see other people get a wee chance in there.
Well, I can bring you back in, Andrew, because we've covered that one. This is a question from Doug, and I'm maybe guilty of it, but also maybe I think I'm right with giving Connor Barron the hype. So, are we in danger of overhyping Connor Barron? He has had a strong, consistent start, but is he a game changer? Is he more Barry Ferguson, rules the roost, or a Sasa Papac? What do you think,
Do you know
Andrew?
what? That's a very good question, actually, because when I was doing my podcast earlier this afternoon, and when I was looking through my notes, I didn't really have much on Barron, and I noticed that in games a lot of the time I don't really have much on Barron, but he does so much. He's chasing the ball back, he's winning it back, regaining possession. Towards the end of the game yesterday, he was running all over the pitch. He's become such an influential player for us, probably one of our most important players currently. Do you know what? It's a good comparison there. I think there's a bit of both because Sasa Papac, obviously the steady Eddie, there is an element of that. Papac would, go by in games and, again, you wouldn't really talk too much about him, but you notice him when he's not there. And I think that'll be the case with Barron. A little bit like in some respects when Raskin came off yesterday, we didn't really notice much about him in the game. He came off, then Hibs started overrunning that kind of midfield a little bit. I think we've got to keep Conor Barron fit. And I think we really do, because I think we might have a bit of a problem there. It'll upset that kind of chemistry of that midfield. He's a fantastic player. He's got so much energy, so much desire, and just gets on with the job. And I think he's going to be huge for us. I really do. And I think there are little shades of Barry Ferguson, definitely. I would love to see just that little bit more like kind of like aggression from him, hopefully, as the season goes on.
Ryan, Barry Ferguson's don't grow on trees, so is it maybe a bit much to be expecting that from Conor Barron just now?
Barry Ferguson's my favourite Rangers player, so it's got a long way to go to be Barry Ferguson, but I've been really impressed with Conor Barron. I really did. I think maybe the overhype is because we didn't really expect him to come into the team and be such an important player for the team. I think a lot of guys would have thought he was coming to fight for a place, but not really start. Probably one of the first names of the team sheet at the moment. The amount of ground he covers is unbelievable. I think after, I like John Lundstrom, there's guys like that as well, but I think you just realised how slow they were making the game and how much energy we didn't have in midfield until Conor Barron came in. So I think he's going to have a great future with Rangers. I hope he's with Rangers for years. It's just like his attitude, the way he gets right in amongst it, chases everything down, and wants the ball off the full-backs, off his centre halves. He's only a young boy, he's demanding the ball off everybody over the park, and that's what I've said previously about his leadership skills. That's showing your will to take the ball, will to take the pressure for your teammates. And so he's not going to be Barry Ferguson, I don't think, enough, but he's definitely going to have a good Rangers career.
If I can do a similar question to you, Andrew, and put this to you, has Tom Lawrence improved since the beginning of the season?
100%. When there was the kind of rumours that there was a £5 million fee put on his head if anybody was looking to purchase him, I thought, I don't know if you're going to get that. Lawrence, loved Lawrence when he was at Derby. Big player there. We knew of his ability there. He comes to Rangers and obviously has a bit of an injury hampered time. I think we are now finally seeing him, for one, injury free, and two, just being able to, I don't know if the shackles are off a little bit. Now, obviously, there's competition for his kind of place. So, obviously his main place is in behind the main striker. Obviously, you got Bijrami now in that kind of, I say number 10 role. We don't exactly use it as a number 10 at Rangers, but it's good because I don't know if it's because there is competition now for places that maybe he started to up his game a little bit. But I think there's a few factors that have come together. I think now that just general fitness is better, and I think he's able. He never looked mobile really at the start of the season, even last season. It was quite frustrating, but now he's, you've seen what he's been doing, and he deserves to start, and you can see that now. Obviously, we were very frustrated with Clement picking him week in, week out, a bit like John Lundstrom. But you can see now the qualities he's bringing, and it's going to be very hard to leave him out. So yeah, no, he's definitely improved.
And
for
same
how
for
long
yourself.
for? Sorry.
No, it's okay, mate. It's the same for yourself, Ryan. The improvement, have you seen an improvement since the beginning of the season? And another question to throw at you, is he your number 10, starting number 10, or should Bijrami have that spot?
Yeah, if you asked me about a month ago, I told you anybody about Tom Lawrence, to be honest. I was a big critic of Tom Lawrence. He was really good on my nerves, but we don't know what goes on behind the scenes of how long it takes players to get back up and running. It's took him a long time to end it from the end of last season, pre-season, start of this season. So I just didn't think it was going to work for him, because it's a long time. So he's had plenty of time to get himself going. But the last 4 weeks, he's a match winner. He's won his last 2 games. Do you know what I mean? So and it's two really good goals. It's not tap-ins or anything. Do you know what I mean? He's created two really good goals. So he's number 10 for me now. Aye, definitely. Because Ramil's looking all right in the left wing as well. I think he's fitting in there. I think with wingers, the two guys that we got in the wing haven't really get. But you're going for Rami and Sherney. My worry is there's not a lot of pace there. That's a big worry for me. I like that pace in at least one winger. So it's a bit one-dimensional coming in the way. But Rami's done well enough at left mid. But I think since Rami came in, Lawrence has won the 2 games in the trot. So that might be a kick out of the backside he maybe needed. Because remember, if it was if he didn't have any competition, and that's what it really was. But he's my number 10 right now.
I'll just remind folk, please give us some questions we can talk about. Otherwise, you're going to get me picking things for top of my head. But I guess I'll throw this out as well with another position in the team, Andrew, which is Ross McCausland. He's come in the last 2 games. Obviously, he didn't start against Malmo, but scored a fantastic goal, getting his shirt pulled the whole way as well, which seemed to be a running theme with them. Is he cemented that spot as his starting position? You know, the starting position in the team.
It's a difficult one, actually, because, again, that was another player that at the start of the season was getting a lot of pelters. I think because people know what he's capable of. Is this the debate coming up now that there's so much competition for places that everyone's outputting the best that they can? He had a fantastic game at Malmo. He wasn't on the pitch long, and it was just that kind of had that cutting edge that we needed. Somebody that can cut in, somebody that's very capable. Now, last season, he was, a lot of people were frustrated with him, but I remember in a game at Parkhead, I think he took on defenders about 3 times, and I think he failed in all 3, but he was one of the few players that's willing to take him on rather than, trying to move the ball back and then it's back with the goalkeeper and we're doing nothing with it. He's got that drive, and it's not always going to come off for him, but he is trying things. I really do like him. I think he's got a big future with Northern Ireland. I really do. I think he's going to be a pivotal player for them, and I think he will with us. It just depends on how we utilise him, because there's a good bit of competition for all places now. But like Curry says there, very likely he might be better coming on as a sub. Fresh legs, especially with the pace he's got running at tired players. Yeah, definitely I can see that. And it worked in Malmo. So yeah, no, definitely.
What's your feelings, Ryan, on Ross McCausland? Curry mentioned that he's not ready for a starting position. I think I lean towards that as well. He's quite an effective sub, but what do you think?
He's not stick on to start. I wouldn't say no. It'd be good for squad rotation, starting games here and there. If he's in a good bit of form, my game the next game. If he comes on off the bench and does the business, I give him a chance. He's only young. I've said this a few weeks ago. I think the Rangers supporters need to get boy time. He's only young, still needs to develop, still needs to learn his game, still needs to learn the game from the manager as well. He's not a stick on to start, but I've got no qualms with him starting either. I think he's got a lot. He's got a lot to give Rangers. I thought he'd done well against that big boy Miller as well. That big boy's trying to ragdoll them all game, to be honest, and he put up a good fight. There's a big size difference between the two. So he's got a bit of fight about him as well, which I like to see.
Good stuff. I'll stay with you, Ryan, and I'm going to go through a couple of players in the team, but has Kieran Dowell ever played football before? Because he doesn't look to me remotely like he doesn't hold himself like a football player. Doesn't seem to know what to do with the ball like a football player. I don't know. What do you think Michael Beale's seen in him? And maybe Andrew, if you've got a better knowledge of English football than I do, if you watch any, you'll have a better knowledge than me. But Ryan, what's your opinion on Dowell at the moment?
No, it just doesn't look interested when he comes on. And I wouldn't say if he's come on and he isn't interested. That's maybe the way he plays. He's maybe used to playing so casually, but it doesn't look good when it's not coming off. He's playing his casual passes and he's just kind of floating about. For me, he should never near the team, to be honest. He's not done anything to impress me at all.
Scotty, welcome to the podcast. Thanks for joining us, mate. How are you doing this evening?
Aye, no bother at all, Billy. Sorry for my lateness. It was unavoidable. It's good to come on though. How are you getting on?
Good stuff. Well, I'll stay with you if that's okay, Scotty. Then give me your opinion on Kieran Dowell this season.
Well, where to start with him? He's a failed signing to begin with, isn't he? Really? He's probably one of the ones I would still rather have Scott Wright than Kieran Dowell. If that makes any sense for a coefficient side of things and the wages. I don't think Kieran Dowell's going to have much to offer. I think once upon a time, if you can get him a run of games in the team, I think there's a player in there. But right now, he's not what we need. He's not. I don't think he's going to contribute anything. Not really sure of his position either, Billy, but come on, staying with him, because we've seen him wide right, like at Tannadice, seen him in centre mid yesterday. I think we all know he's a number 10. Do you know what I mean? So how is he not, if Badrami's getting used on the left-hand side, how are we not just taking Tom Lawrence off for him? I don't know, is the obvious answer. He's going to play, and I'm angry he's going to play because it's going to stop guys like Bailey Rice getting a game and getting some minutes. He's stopping potential youth progression. And considering where the club is at this season, in terms of it being a transition season, or maybe it is, just doing the opinion, it is in my eyes, then that's when you would be bringing in your young boys to play and start to develop some of them.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. That was what we're going to come on to after this, but I'm going to come to you, Andrew, just in case you do have more, can shed more light on his best position for us.
Oh, well, I've still not forgiven him for that kind of not squaring the ball to Tav at Parkhead when we were 2-1 down in the last minute for a start. He went for that wild shot that kind of went out the stadium. Anytime he's been playing, I've never really, when I take my notes, there's nothing really I ever do. He chases the game a lot. I don't even think Clement's sure of his position, and it might not be his fault if he's being kind of utilised the way he is. Again, when he was brought in, you know, you do your research, you kind of see how he played in the championship and stuff, and yeah, I don't know, it's a weird one. But then if you look at us tactically yesterday when we were kind of making substitutes in that second half, it was just a way of just taking tired legs off. We were putting anybody on really by the looks of it, the way that we were shaping up. Personally, I don't think he has a future. I think if we had any sort of bid for him in pre-season there, he would have gone. And it's not to be disrespectful to the lads. It's probably not all his fault again. I think, like you say, he's probably best in behind the striker. But he's being used here, there, and everywhere, and it's not getting the best out of him. He's just kind of filling a spot, a void, if you will. Yeah. It's a frustrating one because I think all Rangers fans groan when you kind of see him coming on. Yeah, sadly.
Fair enough. No, fair enough. And regards players like Bailey Rice, another one's coming through behind it. Do you agree with Scotty that he should be getting a game ahead of Kieran Dowell, who will probably likely have no future with us?
100%. You know, I know we haven't had many games where we've been a good few goals up, but you look at that Ross County game, that was the perfect opportunity to kind of bring in some young blood when you're a few goals up. We do have to start being better. You know, we talk about our player trading model, and, you know, one of the best ways of player trading is players through your youth academy, because that's where you maximise on your profit. We have good players in that team. There's some players that are far too good for the B team at the minute that aren't making that break to the top team. Now, we've not exactly been, you know, if you've been hitting the ground running and winning every game 6-0, then you can kind of understand not changing things up, you know, in the side maybe, because all's rosy in the garden, but all isn't rosy in the garden necessarily. So, you know, you kind of do need to look at all your available options. And I'm not saying Clement doesn't, but, you know, some of these lads do need to play, because for their careers, they'll have to end up moving on just to play first team football.
Ryan, did you get much an opinion on the youth players that in the B team just now coming through? Would you like to see them getting a shot ahead of some of the players that are on the park, or at least coming on as subs?
100%. It's just as Scott says. I think I agree with Scott. It's a transition period without saying it, without the club saying it out loud. So we should be giving the young guys a chance, but it's the managers as well. They've got to be able to trust them. It's the manager's job at the end of the day. So do you like to see a 6-0? 100%. Why not? If we got kids on, give them a feel for it. Maybe not at Ibrox, but Hampden, it's a national stadium as well. Give them a feel for it. Give them a buzz. Dangle a carrot. Go, this is what you could be getting. Do you know what I mean? Gives them an incentive instead of playing at Murray Park or wherever they play at Clyde, or in front of two guys and a dog. Do you know what I mean? It gives them an opportunity to see what it's really like, feel it. I've always been a big thing for advocate for youth players going through, but it's just something Rangers have never done for my lifetime anyway. Them across the city bringing through 10 to our 1. Do you know what I mean? It's just we're really, really poor at it, and that's really because we just don't bring any. We just don't give it. It seems if we don't give anybody a chance. Maybe you get your Patterson and Lewis McLeod and guys recently. Do you know what I mean? It's not conveyor belt as way as it should be.
Scott, this leads to the next thing I was going to come on to, and it's that maybe us as a fan base that is the problem. You've seen during the weekend, Czerny made, in my opinion, the wrong decision, passed the ball the wrong way. The fans immediately were on his back, and he started gesturing towards some of the fans in the main stand, I believe. Is it us, or is it the players not able to deal with the pressure of playing for us?
It's 100% the players not able to deal with the pressure of playing for us. These guys need to know this. Czerny will be on big wages on loan. These guys need to know this before they come, that this is the demands, this is the standards of Rangers. If you can't step up and meet up to that, and you could also bring Dessers in on that too. Dessers is his faults with fans in certain matches as well. Did they deserve to be targeted? I know it's just the kind of the mindset of the supporters just now, Billy. It's where we're at and how we're all feeling, because we're not sure what's around the corner for us. You know what I mean? There's a lot of uncertainty off the park as much as there is on it. With a good performance on Thursday night, and then it's been followed up by an incomplacent performance yesterday. I want to say I don't think that was 3 points and over the road. It was very similar to Tannadice. Domestically, we're not showing yet what we'd need to be shown at this stage. Still very early doors in the season, but we can't afford to drop any more points if we say we're going to be competing this season. I'm just watching the comments just now. Curry's saying maybe Czerny deserves to be targeted. That's just a life of a Rangers player. If you're not producing, if things aren't going to come off, we're not the best at supporting the players when they're going through a bad patch, if that makes any sense. We will demand more and we will shout and whatever else. But his reaction didn't help anybody, put it that way. And I think that was the reason behind the substitution.
Just to respond to Curry, I don't think it was necessarily that it was him in particular being targeted. It was just the frustration of a break. You know, we're on the break and it breaks down and goes backwards. So, Andrew, was he right to have a go at the fans, or is it us that need to have a bit of a word with ourselves?
It's never good to have a lashback at the fans. It really is it. We've seen it a couple of times already from different players. It's part and parcel of football. All fans will groan and moan if the wrong pass is made, and it's understandable. It totally is. Especially when you can see like something opening up. It's something you just got to have that thick skin as a footballer and just channel it a bit. Playing for Rangers is different. There are players that leave Rangers and go to other clubs and seem to play 5, 6, 7 times better because the pressure's different. You're in a high pressure goldfish bowl that's also a vacuum. The players can't fart without the press getting involved in certain things, and just everything is scrutinized. So players need to learn to deal with it and just try and perform as much as they can.
Ryan, I'll come to you as well for your thoughts on it.
I think the boys kind of took it a bit personal. I think anybody that got that reaction, if it was just him. Do you know what I mean? So it was, we played to somebody else done the same thing. They were groaning at the passage of play. I think not actually him. Just took it a bit personal. Rangers jersey's heavy. Do you know what I mean? So you need to stand up, you need your shoulders back, and you need to be able to stand up and be counted. I think the Rangers fans can be over the top at times at Ibrox, but I think they could cheer the team on a wee bit more. I think there's a lot of people ready to groan in the early doors. But I think it's just a lack of performance at the moment. Of a good performances, that's what we were talking about earlier on. There's good performances coming on. I think Ibrox should be a lot cheerier, but I don't ever want to see players throwing their hands up at supporters. I think that's just not going to help them. And it could make them a target going forward. Do you know what I mean? Because a lot of fans would be like, oh, well, who do you think he is?
Mm-hmm. Scott, is the lack of goals at the moment a concern for you, or do you think that's something that's going to come?
That's a good question. I'm still trying to figure out what our style of play is. I know I spoke last week on kind of we're starting centre backs, where they are when Jack Butland's get the ball, and how we're trying to stretch play and how high up we're full backs, etc. But it didn't really look as if we knew what we were doing on Saturday going forward. It looked quite stop-start. I don't even think the start got going, to be honest with you. I think it was a moment of magic that won us a match. The goals need to start coming soon enough, Billy. Plenty of chances are getting created in some matches. I felt bad for Rigaman yesterday because I don't think he got much service, but then I don't think he contributed enough either. It's very difficult, and I'm going to kind of sit in the fence and say it's probably a wee bit too early to tell whether the goals are going to come. But to be honest, I'm not seeing any signs.
Ryan, how do you feel
about the current performances?
Yeah, no, the kind of, we dominate a lot of games, and yesterday in the second half must have had 5 or 6 breaks, but no goals from it. So for me, when there's other teams in the league scoring 5, 6 goals in a game, that's a worry for me personally, anyway.
Yeah, you've got to wonder why we're not scoring the goals. I think everybody just needs to start chipping in all over the park. This is a good start of the season. Lawrence is now starting to chip in, so you need your Bajamis, your Chernies, your McCauslands and stuff when they play. Then everybody needs to start chipping in. We need to be more ruthless. We need to go and bury games. That's what's kind of this anxiety, like grinding the games out and you're watching it through your fingers. I know Andrew said earlier on, probably wasn't as bad as we thought it was live when you go back and watch it, but we're sitting there watching it through our fingers, hoping we don't concede. You know what I mean? We should be going and burying games and going winning 3-4-0 and stuff like that. Especially at Ibrox, we should be looking for 3 goals at Ibrox every time we play Ibrox. So it's a bit. You're wondering where they're going to come from. I agree with that. So your players like your Shernies, your Bajamis, and McCausland and stuff, they all need a man as well. He had a good chance yesterday to show what he could do, but I think that was a bit of an eye opener for us. We need to just kind of be calm on him and let him develop as well.
Well, I've got a question from Gary, Andrew, so it means I'm not making one up now. So I'll let you interpret it any way you want. So just answer the question. But he's asking, if I can do it properly, sorry guys. Did Igeman's performance show that he isn't necessarily a number 9?
I don't know. I think there was a few factors in the game yesterday. Service wasn't the best necessarily. He's just adapting to the kind of Scottish game now. Obviously, when he came in, Clement said he's one for the future. And there needs to be a lot of work done before he's kind of like ready. Obviously, he's bulked up a little bit, but he's probably not fully there yet as a player now. He's looked good in certain games that he's come on, his positioning, the way that he's looking to win the ball. But we've not really seen anything from him in that real attacking sense, the bread and butter, the scoring of goals. Now, it's a problem we've had for a while. We always rely on generally, one danger man per se. I think it's just part of it's the way we play. Now, obviously, Igamani will get more experience now because he will have to. Danilo is... I don't know when Danilo will be back. Allegedly, it's not going to be that long, but, we've heard that before. So he is going to have to... We're going to have to rely on him. At times, I think as fans, we've compared him and Dessers. Now, obviously, we've seen a lot more of Dessers than what we have of Igerman, but with Igermani, he has, he looks positive. Even when he came on in the Old Firm game, which was at that point a bit of a damp squib, he still was looking to do stuff, still was looking to try and, hit some shots. I don't know. I'm not exactly made up on what type of striker he is yet, but he has looked positive and energetic when he's been on the ball. I don't think it'll be long before he does score goals, but he will need to start scoring them basically, because one thing that I've noticed from Rangers teams that have won titles is they've always had a lot of goals throughout the team. It's not just one man or two men. We do need to start scoring more goals. Now, the wings have always been a bit of an issue for us in recent years. We do need wingers to contribute more with goals. Obviously, Ryan Kent kind of started that, and then it went in a downward spiral. But we do need not just Igerman and Dessers scoring goals. We need everybody scoring goals. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard. It's a hard one to answer that one. I don't know if he isn't necessarily a number 9 at the minute. I've not really seen the stuff from Morocco. I've seen obviously the some of the kind of YouTube clips and stuff, and he has looked quite positive. But I don't know. He's still young as well. He could mold into that type of player as well. So we'll see. It depends what Clement wants from him, really. So yeah, I haven't answered that at all.
Scotty, I'm hoping he's not a Fabio Silva, and I'm more hoping that he's a Alfredo Morelos. But what do you think of Gary's question?
Well, we've only seen him 4 times. He's only made 4 appearances, 3 sub appearances and 1 start. So it's a wee bit early to form an opinion on whether he is or he isn't a centre forward. I think we need to see him in 3-4 matches starting before we can actually make our minds up on what position he's best at and where he fits into his side and all this kind of stuff. Right now, Allardyne's building him up. What I will say is yesterday, I think it showed that he's not had enough football at our level. I think coming on with half an hour left and playing against a tired defence suits him just now. There's no reason to drop Dessers. Dessers is on fire at the minute. But yesterday, giving Igaman a start, as much as I wanted to see it, I do think we need to keep building him up in the right way, Billy, before we can form an opinion. He is still young. He is our second choice striker just now. So he is it. He is going to get minutes. But I think we just need to be patient with him.
And Ryan, I'll come to you on Igaman. What's your impression so far? And do you think it might not necessarily be a number 9?
I like the look at him as Scottish season scoring as a sub. You've got a lot more energy to come on in as your tired defences. I thought he looked really good coming on as a substitute. I always kind of see when I was watching him, like I think he could do a job out in the left hand side. That's the way I was always looking at him. We were all shouting for him to get a start. He got a start. Maybe the manager was right to hold him back a wee bit and we've maybe jumped the gun because he looked really good in those sub appearances. So he's still got a lot to learn. Clearly, and he's got a lot, but there's not a lot of pressure on the guy in front of him scoring banging goals in. It's not as if we're going to really need to go listen, we need you to go out and score his goals. The guy playing ahead of him scoring the goals, so that gives him a chance to sit in the wings and not the footballing wings, he'll sit out in the wings, but and learn his craft, learn how the football's done here, learn from the manager. I would like to see him kind of playing off the striker. Personally, I think he's got that energy, strong. He's strong, fast, and I think he just gets you up the park as well. I think just because of the wingers we've got, just the 2 guys we're playing out in the wing just now, kind of one dimensional in the way. But I think the big boy could play out in the flanks personally. But I think going by Sunday's game, there's a big question mark if he is this number 9 or not. But Scott says he's only played one starting, 2 to 3 sub appearances, so he does certainly need time.
Scotty, looking forward to just the European game, and I'm not wanting a breakdown of the match or whatever, but looking at Lyon's kind of recent history, then is this maybe a great time to get them?
Oh, 100%. I think if you want to play Lyon, you want to play them when they're in the form that they're in just now. Still a good team though. Somebody's just said in the comments that they spent 125 million euros in the summer, so they're certainly not going to be a slack opponent to play. Ian McCutcheon's just said they destroyed Olympiacos. I think if there's a time to play them, I think it is now. I don't believe that I would rather play them whilst they're on form and while they're flying kind of thing. I'm just trying to pull up the league table and stuff just now so I can get another wee look at them. But aye, definitely, Billy, if we want to be playing them and hoping for a result, hopefully with Ibrox at the back is, then it's all going to kind of work out. Lyon are currently 11th in the table, 7 points for their opening 6 matches. Hold on. The weekend they won 2-1. Then they won their first Europa League game against Olympiacos last week as well. But a 10-man Marseille did beat them 3-2 at home on the 22nd of September. You know what? It's all... We'll just need to wait and see how it all pans out. I think Kai's trying to get somebody on that's going to be able to come on and tell us a wee bit more about Lyon.
Yeah. And Andrew, what's your thoughts on whether this is a good time to play them or not?
Do you know what? We always tend to have that little bit of, I don't want to say luck necessarily, but generally when we go to play a big team in Europe, suddenly they're in some sort of dire form, and it just always seems to be the case. I'm not saying necessarily they're dire, it's early in the season. I did spot at the weekend, obviously their 2-1 away win to Toulouse, which was Fofana's 95th minute winner. They were struggling in that game. They were a goal down due to an OG. I think it was Nicolassen's OG, but you know, we've taken stuff off Lyon before in recent history when they've been playing better. Obviously, Scott Wright had a great game out there in Lyon, and obviously we'll always remember that infamous night, the DeMarcus Beasley night. And obviously, I know that's different way back when. We are a different animal in Europe, and it's just one of those things where at Ibrox it's going to be absolutely bouncing. We've got 3 points on the board already. We'll be looking to keep our 100% record up and hopefully keep at the top of the table. A lot of people are talking about getting 9 points, you know, to kind of be safe. Well, we've got 3 already, and this is definitely one of the games you'd look at to try and win. And I think we will go for the win. I think we'll look for it. Obviously, we have to be careful. They have spent a lot of money. Their team's worth a lot of money as it is, let alone the money that they've spent on it. So, you know, obviously we can't be dilly-dallying at the back. But, you know, I think another assured Rangers performance in Europe, and it should either be a 1-0 or a 2-0. And it's mad to even say that, but you get so used to it the way we play in Europe. We can just do it.
Ryan, I don't know if I remember asking you, we've spoken before what age you are, but do you remember the DeMarcus Beasley game in Lyon?
Aye, I remember the DeMarcus Beasley game. I was at I was there when Benzema scored a hat-trick against us. Ralston never made up really off of the Beasley major, so they returned the favour 3-0, didn't they? And Benzema scored.
Yeah.
I went to every single game in that European run right to the final. Never went to the final. My fella went to the final, but left me. Left me to see the final. So I went to every single game in that run. So I remember that far back.
Fair enough, mate. And what's your opinion on the game coming up?
I fancies again. I said it on Wednesday night. I think I was on against Malmo, and I just fancy Rangers Europe all the time. I just think, as Andrew says, we're a different beast. But we're talking about the weight of the jersey earlier on and the supporters, but the supporters really, they're the 12th man in Europe. Do you know what I mean? So fancy Rangers against anybody at home. I really do. My fancies on Thursday night. I think the same get a team at a good time. I think they're probably in a bit of a rut. My performances aren't great, but we were grinding out the results at least. So I really do fancy the Thursday. But I think we still need to be respectful. They'll be full of guys worth 10 times what her players are worth. Do you know what I mean? So they'll have good players on the part and they want to play good football. So we just need to start the game strong and get a crowd behind us early doors.
Scott, if there's a question further up the comments there. If we came out of the next two the 2 European games coming up, sitting on what would be 7 points, the question that I asked if we think for, there you go, thank you. Are you sitting after 3 games on 7 points, feeling like we've got a great opportunity to go on, considering who else we've got to play?
Oh, 100%. That's a kind of that would be the ideal start for me, to be honest with you. I'm not sure that I even expected us to beat Malmo as much as I wanted it, because I think we owed Malmo something, especially after their social media post last week. So that's an unexpected 3 points in my book. But then we probably should be beating teams like Malmo. But 7 points for the first 3 games would be ideal. As many wins as we can get on the board, the more money comes into the club. The quicker we qualify, the quicker we can turn. Where if we're qualified in Europe, then Clermont can start rotating a wee bit more and start putting some attention elsewhere. As I know we're in 4 competitions, we want to win everything, but you also don't want to be dropping points domestically either. You want to retain a League Cup. It's important. So 7 points for the first 3 matches would be more than ideal to me, Billy.
And yourself, Andrew? I'm seeing comments like, "Oh, I want 9 points." Yeah, obviously, want 9 points, but let's just say we're sitting on 7. How does that set us up for the rest of the tournament?
Do you know, it's such an unknown, because I've looked at the way that it should shape out and stuff, and it does still feel quite strange, especially when other teams don't play the same teams, and you know, we're playing games into January. We're doing 1 game this week, 1 game last week, which again feels weird. So it's still all kind of a bit of discovery, a journey of discovery at the minute. Get as many points as you can on the board before we've got Spurs, before we've got Man U. Realistically speaking, you know, looking at the draw, you thought, oh my goodness, this is not easy. This is not good. They're ties you want to see. You do want to see us playing the big teams, but you just know that We're not going to win a lot of games here. But you know what? We're 100% at the minute. I know that's after one game, but we've beaten the Swedish champions and champions-elect in their own backyard, something we struggled to do over the years. We've taken points off Lyon before. I know that's different, but they're at Ibrox. They're in a bit of a pickle. If we can maximise 6 points out of 6 at this stage, then I think we've given ourselves a really good chance to get anything for the remaining games to go through. I just think that, again, you look at Real Betis last season, they hadn't lost the game at all. They were on top of their game. And, we managed to beat them, and Dessa's put in his best performance I think we've ever seen at a Rangers top. So, I think we can progress, and I think we will. It's just, on paper, we shouldn't, really. You look at the budgets and stuff, but Rangers are Rangers in Europe, and we just are a different animal.
And I'll come to your opinion on it, Ryan.
Who do we have in the third game? Who do we have next? Then they got it at the top of their head. Or?
It's that team that's changed their name.
FCSB, Romanian.
Romanian team.
But were they not another team before?
I don't think so.
Maybe mucked them up with somebody else.
Basically, it's Stoya Bucharest. Basically,
that's what I meant.
So I think regardless of the first 3 games, that 7 points is a great start. What as people are saying the comments there, of course you want 9, but 7 points puts you in a steady start. I think we'll qualify. We're just Rangers in Europe, and I think we'll beat Lyon on Thursday, and we'll beat Stoya Bucharest or whoever they're now as well. We'll beat them as well. We'll have 9 points.
Fair enough. Scott, a little bit of an interesting thing last week with the Man United game, where the much maligned Sam Lammers scored. I thought a pretty decent goal. 2-part question: does that give you hope that we can take something against Man United at Old Trafford? And should we have kept Sam Lammers and played him as a number 9?
Second question first: absolutely not. The Sam Lammers staying as a Rangers number 9. Never in a million year. I think Alkmaar are playing him as a 10 because of the number 10 jersey on. I'm pretty sure from what I've seen, he is playing behind the striker. That's how he's not scoring goals, probably. But I didn't want it. He was finished at Rangers, so move on, get rid of his wages. We've done the right thing. In terms of Man United, it's a lottery. Depends if Ten Hag's there or not. I was listening to TalkSport on the way home tonight, and TalkSport were saying if Ten Hag's get 2 matches to save his job, if he's still there, then anything's capable. But if he's not in Man U, managed to get somebody in, then he'll probably get a bounce and whatever else and start having all of a sudden of a style of it. But there's similarities between Man United and Rangers this season in the sense of, you look at Man U and think, what are they trying to do? Rangers are the exact same at times. You don't know what they're trying to do. There is that inconsistency there as well. But short answer to your question, if Ten Hag's still in charge, then we've got a chance. But let's hope things are wrapped up before. After Stoya Bucharest, we've got Olympiacos away and Nice away. So I think that's potentially a bit of a banana skin. So I think we do need to get as many points on board as we possibly can.
Curry, if that's true, I see us winning that game even easier. But Ryan, I'll come. I'll break the kind of format I've been doing. I'll come to you here. You can focus on the Man United question. I'm only kind of half joking with the Sam Lammers one, but feel free to answer either.
As when the draw was made, I think we've got a chance of getting something off of Man United. And I sound this big optimistic Rangers guy in Europe there, and I'm saying we can beat everybody, but I think we could definitely get a point after them at Old Trafford. I'd love to see it. I love playing the English teams. I love it. When I can even remember, guys, you probably don't think in 2004 when we played them there. Then I went to Rangers Man United. It was just, I've always had this thing about Rangers and English teams. I like to stick it down their throat a wee bit as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, love to come up against them and give them a game. I went to the ones as well at 2010 maybe. Rooney scored a penalty at the last minute. So the old Man United one. So I do think we could get something off them. I think we've got more chance of getting something off them than we do Spurs at home, to be honest. I think the Man United games, it's a good chance for us to get a scrape on them.
And Andrew, I'll come to you finally on that one.
Sam Lammers, is it both questions, is it?
Yeah, no, you both, of course.
Sam Lammers, when he was at Rangers, just looked like he'd never met a football. Now, you can play people at a position and they don't play as well, but the ball would never stick to him. It was a weird one, because he even played in that Betis game, didn't he? Weirdly. He just never seemed comfortable in the team, and I think it's an example of the pressure of Rangers just didn't work with Sam Lammers. He's an okay footballer. He's doing well out in Holland. And the goal he scored, to be fair, against Man U, I think the keeper could have done a wee bit better because it was at his near post, but that's just me being overly critical. He still hit it quite well. I love games against Man U. Absolutely brilliant. The proper Battle of Britain matches, aren't they? Obviously, the last game we played there, we got that 0-0 draw, didn't we? Was that was it when Valencia broke his leg, when Broadfoot, that challenge? That was horrific, wasn't it? But we got it was a proper Walter Smith, solid defensive performance that got us through that game. We were quite unlucky at Ibrox. It was a late penalty. I think it was Naismith volleyed Rooney in the box or something stupid. Of course he would. Yeah, it was something ridiculous. It wasn't even. Yeah, it was one of them. I think Kenny Miller missed a good chance to score as well. They were quite evenly matched games. Those were. Obviously, Man U, I say a different animal now. A different animal in a different way. You know, they're no longer the kind of big team. They're just kind of hanging on to that kind of top six by a thread. Football is very different in Manchester now, and I think even if Ten Hag is gone, I don't see anything changing massively, because they do spend money, but they just spend it really badly. They just always have. I don't think Rashford's the right man to be up front at the minute. It's just nothing's really working really for them, and it's an inevitable, Again, like Scott says, you just can't see what they're doing. I think things start getting overcomplicated a little bit. But go Old Trafford, expansive open football, hopefully. That gives us a chance, I think. I would just love to see us bag a goal. I really would. It'd be fantastic. Can we do something there? Yeah, I think we can. But it would take a good performance, and hopefully we haven't got the curse of Rangers injuries going into that one in January.
Well, guys, I'm going to finish it up there. Thank you so much for all the questions that did come in. I'm sorry if mine were not quite as up to scratch as you normally get, Ryan, but I've done my best at short notice. So thank you very much. Well, Andrew, thanks for coming on, mate.
Oh, anytime. Absolutely enjoy the stuff that Rangers Journal does. Absolutely great content. So, I'm glad to be a part of it.
Thank you. Scotty, mate, thanks for joining us into the pod. It's great to see you. You were on mute.
I was wondering who was going to say it first. Everybody's always joking to say it, isn't they?
And Ryan, thanks again. Nice to be on with you again, mate. Thanks for coming on.
No, pleasure, Billy. Thanks very much, pal.
Thanks, everyone, for watching. Please like and subscribe. Tell your friends about us. Listen to us on the podcast apps everywhere you get your podcast, whether it's YouTube or audio ones. So thank you again, everyone, for listening. And remember that every night is the Rangers Journal night. Good night.